Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Ragna Debats. It's Western States Week for 2024. Hi Ragna, how are you?
Hi Megan. Yeah, fine.
Welcome back to Western States.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the last time you were here was 3 years ago when you set the women's masters record and had an incredible podium finish. Are you excited to be back here again?
I'm super excited. I feel very grateful. I had a really good experience in 2021, and so ever since I finished, I've wanted to repeat it. Yeah.
You had it's hard to come to a race like this that has the challenges of altitude and then heat. You had a great first Western States race. Like, you podiumed, you ran a really fast time, you set the Masters course record, besting what was already a really strong record. What brings you back to come do it all again?
When I raced in 21, I felt like my preparation wasn't really specific, because we were here on a road trip, we were traveling every day, we did long distances, like covering as much as we could actually, and I raced and I really loved the circuit. I felt if I trained for it specifically, or I asked myself, could I do it better? And that's how I finished. I finished super happy because I think I made the most out of it. But I felt I could be more competitive or more stronger. And that's why I wanted to come back. Then the year after, I think because of injury, I couldn't come back. And the year after that, it was COVID and I couldn't fly to the US. So I lost my entry. And last year I ran Javelina, so to try and win a golden ticket to be able to come back.
For a Dutch runner living in Spain, it's a bit of an epic to get a Western States qualifier. You have to come to America, run a big race to get your golden ticket to run Western States again. You have to really want it, in other words.
Yeah, I think you really have to want it, but also I really love the United States, so for me it's a very good occasion to escape and to race here, because I love all the races I've done here, and every year I hope to be able to travel to the United States. Only just once to be here and to race. Yeah.
Well, here you are again.
Yeah.
You've had, I think, an interesting lead up to this race. A couple of months ago, you were on the flakes of Aconcagua, going for the women's fastest known time on Aconcagua, and then you ran into some health issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it's important because it has affected me a lot, and I know there are it's not the same as what I've experienced, but there are a lot of people are actually struggling with their guts, and sometimes I think we're not aware how we can help ourselves. So I've had a very interesting journey towards this race, because I think it must have started whilst I was at altitude on the Aconcagua. It started that I had problems with my digestion, and I had many days I had diarrhea, or I couldn't go to the loo, and I had problems, and then it got I felt very fatigued. And first I thought it was because of having been in altitude, and I thought my body just needs rest, and also I thought the problems I was having were due to some kind of bacteria from the Aconcagua. But then I went back into training after having rested, and it just got worse and worse, and I felt it was like a chronic fatigue. Like during the day I had no energy, but the worst was like when I went running, there was no energy. Really no energy. Like I had to push really hard and for nothing, for very little. And it took me a long time to recognize that something was really going wrong. But finally I got really alarmed, and I went to see doctors, and I was diagnosed SIBO, which is like, IMO. It is like a small intestine, in my case, methane overgrowth.
Okay.
And the symptoms are the problems with the digestion, and you can have the chronic fatigue as well. So
like the issue is that your body was not able to digest food properly.
Exactly.
The illness caused you to not be able to actually absorb what you were eating.
Yeah, exactly. The illness causes that whatever you eat, your body doesn't absorb it, and the more difficult to digest, the more complications you get in your body, because your body tries to do something with it, but it can't. And actually, the mitochondria, who normally create the energy, who transport it to the muscles and to the organs, they change their mood. There are two parts of them. One part is creating energy, supplying to the organs and to the muscles, and the other part is the alarm part, where they don't create energy, and they actually they make you feel because they don't work, you feel really tired, and it is kind of a defense system of your body, a survival instinct. Because when you are ill, for example, when you feel ill, normally you go into your bed because you have no energy, right?
Right.
Well, this is what happened to me all the time. Like, my body was telling me, like, go into your bed, do nothing, and instead of listening to these signals, I had to ignore it, because apparently, like, nothing was wrong with me. So I had to do my daily life. I wanted to train. I wanted to just keep having my life, and so it was very hard. It was a hard process, because I'm strong-minded, and I trained and I did all the things, but I felt so fatigued, and I felt I wasn't really able to deal with it anymore in the end. And that's how I found out what was going wrong. And the first step is are antibiotics. So, and whilst I was taking the antibiotics, I really noticed that I really, like, I made a big change. Like, suddenly I went out running, and Pia was saying, like, you're back. Like, it was like a big change. And even though people were saying, like, when you take antibiotics, you might feel tired. And I'm like, no way, I'm not tired.
There's no way to get more tired.
I've ever felt in such a long time. Yeah. But then afterwards, the real process starts, because you have to make sure everything works well, and you have to the mucosa have to be restored. You need to help the good bacteria to grow again, and it's quite a difficult task with a lot of changes to the diet, but also, like, dealing with emotional things, stress. So it's been super interesting, but it's been a very different journey. I can say only that I've been able to train, because my fatigue levels don't really depend on my training. I mean, I can control my training, or my coach can control my training, so he knows, okay, today maybe you are fatigued because we've done this training, but other days he will tell me, no, you shouldn't be fatigued, like, it should be all fine. And if I feel fatigued, I know it's because of other things, because my body is probably not absorbing what I'm giving to it. So it's,
So for you this year, you're coming to this race with a lot of antibiotics, a lot of healing, a brand new, like, daily nutrition plan, and then also a brand new, like, race day nutrition plan. Everything is new or different for you this time. Yeah.
That's a good summary.
Whenever a person comes back to a race, like, you always wonder, like, what brings them back, and, like, performance is of course a thing, but here you have a new sort of health reality or a health journey that you're going through. So how do you mesh, like, that, desire to be a better version of yourself with, like, knowing there's a lot of variables for race day for you?
Yeah, I think the approach is quite different. I used to have, like, the approach of, like, the very competitive approach, to the ambitious one, to try and be on the stage, but my actual condition is different, so I have to to refocus a little bit. And actually, this whole journey has been really interesting, and it's, for me, like, a good race doesn't really depend on the time or on the placement. I think it really depends on how I am managing with my body, how I'm driving, not driving, like on a boat when you're sitting on how I'm moving this ship through the water, like from the beginning till the end.
It's a great metaphor.
So it feels like that, and I will be really pleased, and it will be a big step forward for me, for my health, and if I can achieve that. So, and on the other hand, I know that I'm well trained, so if everything goes well and I can manage my psychological, my emotions and everything, and nerves, and I can connect my body and my mind in the right way, I'm sure I will be able to do a really good race. So, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I really hope I feel this calmed, and my body is going to react really well on the nutritions I'm going to give to my body, which are quite different. And it's like there are things I've never tried during a race, not like in this kind of dimension. So it will be really interesting. But I feel confident and really positive about it. Awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you in your second Western States.
Thank you.
It'll be really fun to watch you make the route from Olympic Valley to Auburn once again.
Thank you.